Need a strong heroine for your dark comedy? Woman, thy name is Frances.
Hey there, Mildred. You didn't happen to pay a visit to the dentist today, did you?
No.
Huh?
I said no.
Oh, so it wasn't you who drilled a little hole in one of Big Fat Jeffrey's big fat thumbnails, no?
Of course not.
Huh?
I said, of course not.
You drilled a hole in the dentist?
Denise, no, I didn't.
I thought it was kind of funny myself, but he wants to press charges, so we're gonna have to bring you in, I'm afraid.
3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri is a long title and also a movie starring Frances McDormand as a mom suffering a tragedy in what she did to try to get justice. Woody Harrelson is in there. Sam Rockwell doing some stuff in there too. Certainly one pushing for a lot of awards this award season. Well, is it worth it? Here's 5 things you might want to know about 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Man, there's a lot of really good stuff here. A lot of it depends on what kind of movie you're looking for, though. Let's start here with something I haven't mentioned yet. It's Martin McDonagh wrote and directed it. Now, you may know that name from the movie In Bruges, which is actually one of my favorite underrated films that not a lot of people have seen, but it has this profane energy to it. And this movie has much of the same. Let's just start there and give this a yellow. Because if you're not in the mood for a movie that is willing to take out all the stops when it comes to going to the darkest places of this humor, the darkest places of the drama both, then you're not going to be in the mood for this movie. McDonagh has this way of just scraping you with his humor and with his story, scratching you, cutting you in many ways so that you have to feel it and at the same time are somehow enjoying the energy of it. It's hard to explain, but he has that going in this movie as well. And so depending on what you're looking for, that may please you or that may turn you off. One thing I feel like McDonagh does really well, he understands how to craft a story. The twists and turns that this movie's story takes you on are shocking. They're huge surprises that will shock you, and at the same time, they're meaningful. Every time one of them happens, you understand how it informs these characters and this story. And most importantly, and this is probably the reason I love this the most, they never feel forced. When you hit one of these twists and turns in the stories and something happens with one of these characters, you always feel like you understand how it fits into the context of the story as a whole, so it feels authentic to the story. It may not feel completely authentic to the world that we live in, if that makes sense, but it feels authentic to the world that he's creating. The other thing I love about this movie are these characters. I have to mention that, especially the 3 main characters here, played by McDormand, Woody Harrelson, and Sam Rockwell. They are so full and complete and understandable. At times you would think maybe they're falling into caricature a little bit, especially the Rockwell performance, but you believe it because it actually is fairly well-rounded, even as over the top as it can be at times. And I have to mention the performances pull it off as well. McDormand is amazing, as always. Rockwell's great. Harrelson is so good in this. Those 3 performances at the center of this film, I think are the best thing about it and the glue that holds it all together. The other thing that brings you along in this movie is the humor. It's really funny. I laughed out loud several times during the movie, and that's a trick to pull off. And that's in Bruges as well. We've seen Martin McDonagh do this before, where it is so compelling and dramatic and serious. You're dealing with a very serious topic here. And at the same time, the way these characters interact, the things that they say are really funny. He does dark humor or black comedy in a way that I don't know that I've seen anybody, maybe Shane Black, maybe a little bit. But other than that, I don't know that I've seen anybody capture it as perfectly as he does in the humor department. Sounds like I love the movie, right? Well, I did, but there is one really big negative for me. And if you know anything about my personal movie watching likes and dislikes, you know this means something to me. There's nothing to take away from this. I shouldn't say that. There's nothing redeeming or satisfying to take away from this. The story doesn't go to a place where you feel good about it at the end, or you even feel really good about these characters. Now, maybe that's intentional, and I can I can understand that, but that doesn't mean that I like it. I want a movie to go somewhere that at least helps me understand something deeper in the themes. And it doesn't have to be a happy ending. It just has to be an ending that takes me somewhere and helps me understand things. And I don't feel like this movie has anything really satisfying or redeeming to say when it's over. Overall, though, it's a spectacular movie to watch. If you don't mind how profane it is, how far he crosses those lines, you'll probably enjoy the humor and the performances enough. For me, I did enough to give it a B+. Thanks for checking out this short Movie Friend review. We'll get to the Best Ever Challenge here in a bit. Before we do, though, hit me up on Twitter, Aaron Dicer, AARONDICER. That's where I do most of my movie conversation. Love that community. You can also converse here at YouTube, subscribe, leave comments, all that fun stuff. Or at the podcast, SiftPop, SiftPop is the podcast name. We do a weekly pop culture podcast that you might want to check out if you do the podcast thing. Also, thank you for your support. It's mind-blowing that people give dollars to me to do this. $3 a month is where it starts. If you'd be willing to give $3 to help your movie friend keep making these reviews, I'd appreciate it. It's patreon.com/yourmoviefriend. If nothing else, go there and check out the perks for giving, because there's some interesting ones there as you give. Again, that starts at $3 a month, and thank you so much for those who give. All right, on to the Best Ever Challenge, where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. What is the best movie ever with 5 words in the title? 5 words in the title. Mine has to be the one where Romeo said something very similar to the title of this movie, or it was in Romeo and Juliet, I should say. It wasn't Romeo that said it, but meant something completely different. See if you can work your way through that one. Take a guess in the comments. First person to get it right does get a point. I'd love to see your choice there for best 5-word movie as well. And as always, here's a few extra seconds to hit subscribe. Just click my face.